Hi, David West here, your plebeian philosopher. Today we're going to be starting a brand new series. It's going to be called Alt-Right, Alt-Left, and Center. And it's going to be discussing, like, each video is going to focus on a particular issue, and I'm going to discuss how the authoritarian right wing approaches that issue, how the authoritarian left wing approaches that issue, and how the political center approaches that issue. The main goal, the most important thing to understand about authoritarianism, it's based on the addiction to power. So regardless of which group is authoritarian, authoritarianism is bad, okay? Addiction is defined by abuse, and authoritarianism is systemic abuse, institutionalized abuse. The most important thing to clarify when talking about authoritarianism is 4 definitions. The definition of liberty, the definition of justice, the definition of tyranny, and the definition of oppression. Because what authoritarian groups will do is they'll mess up these definitions, or they'll omit one of these principles in their ideology. Okay, so let's define liberty. Liberty is the freedom to any non-abusive action. If it's not abusive, it is your liberty, period. Justice are the boundaries to protect everyone from abuse. Justice doesn't tolerate anyone being abused. Okay, so liberty deals with the freedom of action, non-abusive action. Justice deals with healthy boundaries to protect people from abusive actions. All right, now let's talk about tyranny. Tyranny and oppression, they're the evil twins of liberty and justice. Okay, tyranny is the evil twin of liberty. All right, tyranny is the freedom to abuse. Tyranny is the freedom to kill, steal, and destroy. So tyranny is abuse in action. Oppression are boundaries designed to intentionally abuse people. Where justice tries to protect everyone from harm, to protect everyone from abuse. Those are boundaries. Justice are boundaries. They're laws to protect everyone from harm. Oppression are laws and boundaries designed to intentionally abuse people. Okay, so now let's discuss how these 4 definitions apply to the authoritarian right, the authoritarian left, and the center. All right, so the authoritarian right wing, they corrupt liberty into tyranny. They believe that liberty to them is the freedom to kill, steal, and destroy. They'll claim it's their liberty, even though it's in fact tyranny. And in authoritarian right wing, there is no justice. Justice is completely eliminated in the authoritarian right wing. They don't believe in boundaries whatsoever. And they believe that everyone has the freedom, especially the upper classes have the freedom to kill, steal, and destroy at will. And there's no justice in authoritarian right wing. Okay, let's talk about the authoritarian left wing. Authoritarian left wing, they corrupt justice into oppression. So their view of justice is, they put boundaries against everything. There's no such thing as liberty. There is no liberty in the authoritarian left. The left wing, no liberty whatsoever, no freedom to do anything good or bad. You can't do anything good or bad. There's no liberty, there's no freedom in the authoritarian left wing. It's all oppression and no liberty. Okay, but they'll call their oppression justice. The authoritarian left wing will call their oppression, they'll call it justice, but it isn't. Because they use it to stop all liberty, stamp out all liberty in existence. Okay, now let's talk about the center, how the center views these definitions. The political center ensures liberty and justice for all. Okay, so the political center counters tyranny with justice, and it counters oppression with liberty. Okay, so the political center ensures liberty and justice for all by countering oppression with liberty and tyranny with justice. All right, so that's very important to get down, to figure out, and to consider. Okay, let's talk about general authoritarianism. It could be any type of authoritarian group. It all begins with an imbalance of power. So it starts, authoritarianism, it's about the addiction to power. Okay, authoritarianism is based on the addiction to power, and it begins with an imbalance of power. So what an authoritarian will do is they'll go to the side with the most power. So they'll find the power imbalance, they'll go to the side with the most power. And then authoritarianism is the process of increasing the imbalance of power as much as possible in their favor, with the end goal is to create a single party system where they have a complete monopoly on power. See, so long as there's choice, so long as there's competition, people will choose the least abusive system. But in a single party system, there is no choice. You either tolerate the abuse or you get destroyed. So single party systems are inherently abusive, they're inherently monopolistic. And authoritarians try to create single party systems. Okay, yeah, and let's talk about the centrist response to that. Well, the political center tries to counter authoritarianism through a series of checks and balances. So when the authoritarians try to tip the scale in their favors, centrists try and shore everything up. The centrists, they ensure liberty and justice for all. That's what they do. They ensure everyone has liberty, so long as they're not abusive. So long as you're not being abusive, you've got complete liberty to do whatever the heck you want in a centrist, political centrism. And if you are being abusive, they're going to make sure that justice is equally applied to everyone who's being abusive. All right, so centrism counters authoritarian through checks and balances, the rule of law, and they apply the Constitution. They amend the Constitution if needed. And this is all to prevent tyranny and abuse, where authoritarianism will abuse through tyranny and oppression. Centrism tries to stop the abuse while still allowing for liberty. This has been Dave. This is the introduction to this series on alt-right, alt-left, and center. And there's going to be more videos to follow, and I'm going to cover specific issues and how each of these groups, 3 groups, approach the same issue. If you like what you hear, then like and subscribe, and thank you for your time.